everyone, welcome to GEP's Town Hall with Assemblyman Gordon Johnson. My name is Ashley Wynn, and in this podcast, I'm going to interview Mr. Johnson regarding his legislative career and involvement within criminal justice reform in New Jersey. Assemblyman Gordon Johnson is currently running for state senate and will be the first Black state senator in Bergen history. During this time, he serves as chairman of the Commerce and Economic Development Committee in the state assembly. Within this role, he is helping small businesses recover from the pandemic and fighting for working families by tackling income inequality. Recently, Gordon Johnson helped write new laws that will provide $100 million in economic relief to New Jersey businesses, worked tirelessly to extend unemployment benefits, and champion laws to reduce income inequality by establishing a $15 minimum wage, guaranteeing earned sick leave, expanding paid family leave benefits, and increasing eligibility for the Earned Income Tax Credit. Thank you for joining us today, Assemblyman Gordon Johnson.
Thank you for having me.
On July 2nd, 2020, Governor Murphy signed 3 bills, one of them in which you were the primary sponsor. This bill is A744, which requires law enforcement agencies to provide internal affairs and personnel files of law enforcement officers to other agencies under certain circumstances. Can you tell us about this bill more in depth?
Yeah, the purpose of that bill and the genesis of that bill is the idea came across that sometimes police officers who behave badly in some departments will transfer to another police department, and the receiving agency is not aware of all the activity that the sending agency, the officer, has been involved in the sending agency. So what this does is requires that the police chief or the public safety director in the receiving department receives all the disciplinary files and issues that this officer may have been involved in, so they can better decide if he or she is a proper fit for their department.
For voters who are heavily involved and interested in criminal justice reform, why should they vote for you? And what is something you can promise as a senator?
Well, why should they vote for me? Well, I've been in the legislature now for 20 years. It's my record, my legislative record speaks for itself. I'm involved in social justice issues. I'm involved in green energy issues. I'm involved with in incentivizing or incentivizing companies from overseas to invest in New Jersey and to expand their companies in New Jersey, trying to spotlight New Jersey as a place to do business. I'll deal with those 3. We can go on and on. So I think that we look at my legislative record, that stands for itself. And I'm in a district that's a moderate district for the most part, but I always try to usually I do have an open door. My door is always open to people when they have issues or complaints or concerns, and we try to respond to that. I have a great team in my office with Scott and Ralph, and they've been working hard lately because of unemployment problems, but we respond to the people who call us.
We are aware that COVID-19 has been said to disproportionately affect people in prison. What measures are you going to take to ensure there is equity of healthcare delivery for inmates?
Yeah, we have been involved in contact with the commissioner of DLC, Department of Corrections, who actually he recently left because of some issues. But we are, when I say we, the legislature is going to ensure that the inmates that are under our charge in state prisons and also in county jails under our charge are given all the safety procedures that are in place, protocols are in place, and also have access to the vaccine.
What are your thoughts on the school to prison pipeline?
I'm not familiar with that, but I will say that education is the key to prevent incarceration. Either you educate or incarcerate. And whether if a person has no way to go, has no way of making an income for him or herself, that they'll wind up on the other side of the law more than likely. And also with other issues such as homelessness and lack of access to a proper health care. So education is key, and we should reach down to the primary grades to ensure that every young child has access to a quality education and can realize the American dream.
You were the primary sponsor for the bill A722 imposes requirements on video visitation to service contracts for inmates in certain correctional facilities. Can you go more in depth about this bill?
I believe that bill, I have to have Scott to help me with this one. That was the bill that required that all inmates have access to video conferencing with their families. I think that there were some fees that they were charging, the jails and prisons were charging, mostly jails in this case, that were onerous, that we thought was too high, and we put a cap on it. Was that right, Scott?
Yes, the bill would also cap the fees. That's correct.
Yeah, cap the fees that they're charging these inmates to talk to their families. So that bill addressed that and made it more equitable for those inmates that we have in our charge.
How are you actively fighting for criminal justice reform?
Through legislation. As a former police officer and sheriff, I recognize what our police department, our police officers go through, and how they how their environment in the streets and what have you. But we are going to ensure that one thing we're trying to do is a bill that's out there is to ensure or try to ensure that the police department reflects the ethnicity of the jurisdiction they're working in. So we're trying to ensure that the police chiefs and these public safety directors, when they go through the hiring process, they try to find or get that balance as they try to find or try to reach a goal, I guess call it a goal, to ensure that the police officer in the street have an understanding of the different cultures that they're representing or protecting, I should say, and also through training and through in-service training, where police officers are required to take cultural courses in cultural diversity and get a better understanding of different cultures that they may be protecting in their jurisdictions.
Do you have any future plans to introduce new bills or co-sponsor them? And if so, what can you say about them?
Yeah, I think if we go forward, and hopefully it will be in the Senate, we will still have a priority on green energy. We're trying to incentivize electric cars and also hydrogen fuel cell cars, which are also electric cars, and to get get New Jersey off the needs for fossil fuel. We're going to ensure that you have a network to set up for the charging stations, and whatever else is needed to ensure that the people will be willing to purchase and own fossil-free vehicles in the future.
So what motivated you to choose this line of work?
I've always been a public servant. I started as a police officer many years ago, and was a sheriff's department for a while. And when I was asked to run for the state assembly, I felt there was another way I could serve my community, my state. So I agreed to do that. And it's another form of public service.
And how important do you feel is your job within the greater criminal justice system?
Well, I think that my colleagues in the legislature, some rely on me because of my background in law enforcement. And I have always been able to bring out certain points in legislation that may be detrimental to law enforcement, or other points that may be good for law enforcement. So I'm kind of relied on sometimes, or maybe most of the time, for what my expertise, as you could say, or my history of being in law enforcement.
And since you mentioned your history, how have these experiences shaped your perception of the criminal justice system?
Well, all my experiences throughout my life in law enforcement has been a positive one, but we also have issues when it comes to what we call violent crime. Our gun control is a major issue in this country and in this state. We're the strictest gun control state in the country, yet we have people getting killed every day by guns in this state, in our major cities. So even though we have very strict gun control in this state, it's still an issue that we have people being killed by guns almost daily. So at least being shot and or killed almost daily. I think that as I go forward, we try to rely or speak to our federal representatives to try to convince them. I want to say the ones representing New Jersey understand it, But as you go outside to other congressmen and U.S. senators in other states, they have to realize that their lack of action on this is really detrimental to states that would prefer to have a strong gun control within the confines of their state.
And what changes do you feel need to be made to make the criminal justice system more equitable?
I think what we're doing now is perfect. I think ensuring that the judicial system is fair, ensuring that the police are trained and understand cultural diversity, ensure that police officers that are hired have the right mentality to do this job. And I think that through constant training and evaluation and oversight provided by the police chief or director, oversight over the men and women who work for them has to be strict on top of it. And any actions or any complaints that come in should be addressed in some way or another.
And how can the audience take action in their everyday lives?
I think the audience, if they have an issue with or a concern about law enforcement or public safety, they should contact their local police department. Give them a call. Tell them how they feel. Tell them what they saw, their observation, their concerns, and have a dialogue with the police department there. They usually have people there who are willing to talk to the public, to the people they're protecting. So I think open a line of communication with their local police department.
That's the end of all the questions I have for today. Thank you so much for being here with us today and answering our inquiries. It was a pleasure to meet you, and we wish you good luck for your campaign.
Likewise, and thank you for having me. And we'll talk soon, maybe.
Of course. Thank you so
Take
much.
care.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.